very basic question. What is GST? And why do we at all need to understand GST? It is an indirect tax. Why indirect tax? Because you will not be paying from your pocket. You will not be paying from your pocket. It will be paid by the person who is using your goods or your services. So you are not paying. You are collecting from that person and keeping with you for some days, and then you have to pay back to the government. It came into existence from 1st July 2017, and this has changed the entire scenario of the Indian taxation. Now it is levied on the supply of goods and services. Why we are saying it has changed the entire scenario? Because this is more comprehensive, multi-stage, destination-based, and at every value addition. Please remember these 4 points, because you as entrepreneurs, you will be linked to all these points. Why it is comprehensive? We just discussed there were 3-4 taxes before we used to hear. Now there is only one GST. Do you hear anyone saying, I will charge you VAT? No. Do you hear anyone saying, I have to charge service tax on this? Or when the goods are coming out from the factory, do you hear I have to charge excise? No. Everyone uses one common terminology, GST. So it is more comprehensive. It is only one tax, one nation. It is multi-stage. Now what does multi-stage means? That it starts from the time you purchase raw materials and it will end when you sell it to the last customer. So first you purchase raw materials, you paid GST on it. Then you processed it to a semi-finished goods, you paid GST on that. Then you made finished goods, you again made GST on that. When you removed it and sold it to the retailer. When the retailer sold it to the final customer, he again paid GST. Now what this means? Let us take an example of example of a biscuit. What are the raw materials in biscuit? We have flour, sugar, some added flavors. And if it's a chocolate biscuit, maybe chocolate, choco chips, water. Right? Now let us understand. On this there is no GST. On this also there is no GST. On this there is a GST. On this also there is a GST. So what happened when we mixed all this? We made biscuits. Now are we not going to sell you biscuits like this? We need to pack those biscuits, right? So what we brought? We brought wrappers. Let's take a normal biscuit of hide and seek. So it is already wrapped in a navy blue color packet. So by seeing that navy blue color packet, you understand this is hide and seek, right? Clear? So we have two semi-finished goods, that is biscuits and wrappers. On this there is GST. On this also there is GST. Then we get a finished goods, that is packed biscuits. Now what happens? We will not sell the packed biscuits from the factory. Do we go to the factory and buy? No. We go to our nearest grocery shop and buy it. Right? So we are selling this packed biscuits to the retailer. Again we are charging GST. Then the retailer is selling to us. So what does he charge? He charges something known as MRP. MRP to us, maximum retail price. That also has GST. Now I will put figures in all of these for you all to understand what is the actual nature of GST, how it is becoming multi-staged. Say over here, he paid 3 rupees GST, okay? And over here in the semi-finished goods, in total, the GST became 5 rupees. Then in the finished goods, the GST became 8 rupees. After the commission to the retailer, the GST became 9 rupees. And the customer on that big packet, he paid 10 rupees GST, which is included in the MRP. Now, what is the total amount of GST that we have paid as a customer? Can you tell me? Is it 3 plus 5 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10? Is this the GST amount that we have paid? No. We have not paid that GST amount. We have paid only 10 rupees. How? This person paid 3 rupees. He charged 3 rupees when he got to semi-finished goods. Right? So when he was paying his GST, he paid 5 minus 3. He paid only 2 rupees GST. So the ultimate GST to the government was 3 rupees and the difference of 2 rupees. Okay? And the next person, what he did? He already had paid 5 rupees when he purchased. So he paid a difference of 3 rupees GST. Then he paid a difference of 1 rupee. And then this retailer collected from us 1 more rupee and he paid that. So actually we paid 10. But there were so many stages to it. Now under VAT what used to happen? We used to pay this amount, the retailer. There used to be something else known as excise duty. You could not set off excise duty against VAT. If you have paid extra VAT, you cannot set off that VAT also against excise duty. So we used to end up paying tax on tax. So with GST there is no more VAT, there is no more excise duty. So at the end we pay much lesser amount of tax to the government. This is the multi-stage of GST. Now as an entrepreneur you have to understand how to set off these, because if you do not set off, you will be incurring losses. You will be simply incurring losses. And you will be getting notices left, right and center from GST. Because you will not know how to calculate your GST. See, you may keep a tax consultant or a CA. But you need to know what you have to give to that person so that your GST is calculated correctly. Na? Say, if I am a chartered accountant, you give me this bill also, this bill also, this bill also, this bill also. How will I know you have to set off? You have to only give me this bill, na? So this segregation has to be understood as an entrepreneur under GST. The main reason to bring GST was for this purpose, so that you don't pay multiple times the taxation. Now if you don't understand this thing, then you will end up paying 3 plus 5 plus 8 plus 9. Then what will be your profit? Your profit will be minus. You don't have to pay 3, you don't have to pay 5, you have to pay 9 minus 8, that is 1. Imagine the difference of paying 9 and imagine the difference of paying 1. So this concept of GST, that it is multi-stage and you have to take out only your stage, is very critical for all of you. It's very, very, very critical. And this multi-stage process of sorting GST is known as taking input tax credit. Please keep this word in your head and always collect the maximum input tax credit you can. Input tax credit should be your key, and it can turn around your business from loss to profit and profit to loss. Why GST? See what used to happen before, since there were many kind of taxes, okay? So there was confusion among people which tax they have to pay. Now with one tax, everybody knows they have to pay that tax. Before there used to be, I have paid excise, so I don't have to pay VAT or what? Under excise, I am SME, so do I have to pay VAT? Because under SME you don't have excise duty. Now all these things have been removed. All these confusions have been removed. This eases the transportation and distribution network. Now types of GST. We are selling within Meghalaya, we will be charging CGST and SGST. Now say a GST on a product is 12%. If we are selling within Meghalaya, what we will do? What we will do? We will be charging 6% under CGST and 6% under SGST. Okay? If it's within the state, then if it's within Meghalaya, then CGST will be 6% and SGST will be 6%. If it is outside the state, that is, say if we are selling to Assam, then IGST will be 12%. And if the GST rate on the goods is 18%, Then if you are selling within the state, it will be 9% CGST, 9% SGST, and IGST will become 18%. I'm going with cater example first, okay? What you are buying under cater? Machines. Machines are goods or services? Is there any doubt that machines are goods? Any doubt? I can conclusively say that everyone is agreeing that machines are goods. Can I say this? So machines are goods. Clear? What you are doing with the machines? You are giving them on hire. You are renting them. Rent or hire, it means the same. Clear? Along with the rent, what you are giving, what you are doing, you may also give them a driver in some cases, right? Now driver is a good or service? I can conclusively say everybody has agreed that driver is a service. Renting or hiring is good or service? Service. Machines is what? Goods. But this is your input. Okay? This is yours. You have purchased it. It is something which is coming into you. Right? And this is your output. Your hiring and your driver is your output. GST is determined on what? Input or output? GST is always determined on output. So your output is a service. So you will be charging GST applicable on services. Tomorrow in your business, be a very smart entrepreneur. Don't say your customer 300 rupees is basic price, 18% comes to 54 rupees, which is GST, and my price is 354 per hour. You will not even get 300 rupees. What you have to say? I am charging you 350 rupees lump sum. Okay? So what happens? You have got your GST, you have got your basic price also, and never break it up. Use the formula of MRP in your system. Your business is price sensitive. There are various rates under GST. You will be concerned with which rate? 18%. You will be concerned with your output rate. Your input rate is not your decision. Your input rate is the decision of the company who is selling you the machines. Right? Can you say, no, bhaiya, I will only give you 18%, I will not give you 28%. He will not give the machinery also to you. Can you do that? That no sir, in that meeting you said, but I only want to give you 18% because I will be charging 18%. Will you ever receive your machinery? No. Your input GST rate is not under your control because you are not manufacturing that product. As clear as that. Which GST rate you have to take care of? Your output GST rate. As of today, your output GST rate is at the rate of 18%. And whatever is your daily or hourly rate, please add GST and say the lump sum amount to the farmer. Don't confuse the person. Once you decide on your daily rate and hourly rate, I request all of you to come back to us. We will do the breakdown of each of your rates with what should be your GST, CGST and SGST and equaling your total. So that when you file your returns, you file the correct returns. Your compliance should not be wrong. Once you decide on this, please write back to us that we have or I have decided that my hourly rate will be X and my daily total rate will be X. Okay? So we will do the breakup and give you that if your hourly rate is 300, this much is your amount, this two amounts are your GST. So it will equal to 300 rupees. so that when you do the compliance, you don't make a mistake. Now, who is a taxable person under GST? In simple words, if you are residing within the state of India or within the country of India and you are doing any business, and if it's rendering of services and if it's above 10 lakhs a year, you are liable to take GST registration and pay GST. So we suggest you take the GST registration and start from beginning so that your rates are stabilized. So stabilization of rates is another critical point. A taxable person can be an individual. Most of you are starting as sole proprietor, right? So an individual is equal to a sole proprietor. So you all are a taxable person. Or you all are HUF, you all will not be. Or a firm. Firm means any partnership firm. Now, as per the High Court judgment, Guwahati High Court judgment, that if two people who are exempted under 1026, they form a partnership firm, then the partnership firm being a separate legal entity will be liable to tax. So, under GST, if you are forming a partnership, then also you are liable to tax. Even if you are starting as individual, then also you are liable to tax. And if you are NGO or SHG or a FBO, you are also liable to tax under GST. GST has no exemption.